spanky little gun. This is just lovely. Shoots pretty darn good too. Hey guys, Glockster 42. Well, on the table we've got a CZ 452-2E ZKM American by CZ Arms, the Czech Republic. What a fantastic little rimfire. Now this is the 17 HMR. It's just a beautiful, almost full-sized rimfire. In fact, it has the same length of pull as most of my hunting rifles, a 13.5-inch length of pull. It's an all-steel gun. There is not a single piece of plastic on this entire firearm. The magazine is steel. The magazine release is steel. All the internals of the magazine is steel. The bolt, the safety is all a steel magazine. So of course, you know what? It's not going to be light, but it's certainly a lot lighter than most hunting rifles. Batted up, ready to roll. I think this is about 7 pounds. So it's a couple pounds lighter than most hunting rifles. It's just what a great little rifle. Of course, it's not a lightweight, and it's not a true full size. It's about 7/8 scale to a full size rifle. Beautiful gun. If you're going to use a gun to mimic your hunting rifle, this can't be beat. There's a couple funky things about this CZ. One of the main things that of oddness, I'll roll some of my field test shoots at this point to show it a little bit better, is this safety. On the CZs, the safeties are pretty much butt-ass backwards from any North American firearm. Now, right here at the back position, the firearm is ready to fire. You push it forward, you're actually making the rifle safe. You bring the safety back towards you, it's ready to fire. A little bit different, and that takes some getting used to. One of the little idiosyncrasies of the CZ rifle. But what an absolutely excellent rifle. When I first had this, the factory trigger was about 6.5 pounds. It was pretty bad. There was lots of creep, lots of over travel. I was at the time I was working at a gun shop, and the gunsmith said, well, here's how you do it. And I went ahead and did the trigger job all by myself, and when it was done, it was about 6 ounces. It was way too light. In fact, it was so light I was afraid to even carry it around cocked and locked. So I just always, kept the chamber open or just left the bolt slightly up. Since that time, I've decided that I'm just not going to have a 6-ounce trigger. I sent it off to the gunsmith again, and we've got to put up back to factory specs, but he's tightened it up a bit, so it's about 4.25 pounds. It's a nice crisp trigger. They can be tuned very easily right out of the factory. They come good. If you're not terribly worried about it, just go for the 6-pound trigger, because it's not so bad. It's not such a bad trigger. Now this is these guns come in 22 long rifle, 22 Magnum, and 17 HMR, 17 Hornady Magnum cartridges. 17 HMR. We're looking at about $15-16 for a box of 50. It's not cheap to shoot. The 22 long rifle is considerably less expensive. I guess you'd have to ask yourself, what are you going to use this cartridge for? At the time when I first bought it, I used it for gopher hunting. I did a lot of gopher shooting. I took a lot of coyotes, foxes, the occasional lynx that was running around our property going after the chickens. But since then, I've moved from my farm, and I'm living in a city now, and I don't have anywhere to go shoot gophers. I don't rarely hunt coyotes with it, and it's a darn expensive plinker. I guess it would be something good to take along if you wanted to maybe shoot squirrels, or you did shoot gophers. But for me right now, honestly, it doesn't get a lot of use. I'm lucky if I take it out once or twice every 3 years. In fact, this spring here, last couple weeks, was the first time I've had this firearm out in probably 2 or 3 years. So unless you've got a real use, unless you've got a real need for something more than a 22 long rifle, I would probably suggest a 22 long rifle as opposed to a 17 HMR or a 22 Magnum. Especially the 17 HMR. Like I said, they're expensive. This happens to be the Federal 17 grain. This is the Hornady 17 grain. Now, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if these are identical cartridges with just different colored nose caps. We've also got the CCI hollow point and the Winchester hollow point. I'll roll some footage in of field tests with that. Now the big difference between the CCI and the Winchester is the CCI has a much deeper hollow point than the Winchester. I haven't done any penetration tests on these, but I know these CCIs and these Federal black tips, you shoot a gopher at anywhere up to 50 yards. Basically all you've got are teeth and tails left. There's nothing much. They do a hell of a job on vaporizing the gophers. So if this is something that you're going to want to use shoot squirrels with and whatnot for actually putting on the plate, you know, you're going to want to go headshots for sure, or you're not going to have much to put on. So the big thing is in 17 rimfire, I've got it, so I'm going to keep it because I really hate getting rid of firearms. But I certainly wouldn't go out and buy one as my only rimfire. I'd go out and get one of these in a 22 long rifle far sooner than I'd get an HMR or a 22 Magnum. You know, it's gonna what's it gonna do for you? It's gonna give you about probably 50 to 75, maybe 50 to 75 yards, maybe 100 yards more than a 22 long rifle. Would I shoot a coyote at one of these at 200 yards? No, I'd probably want to be a little bit closer. You know, coyotes at 200 yards, I'm thinking I want center fire, 223, 22 mag, 222, something like that. This is probably best kept under 100, out to 150 yards for any game, anything that you're shooting, you know, right up close to 150 yards max. You know, a good 22 long rifle with a good quality scope will definitely do the same thing. You know, maybe not without as much panache. You can see on these on the steel plates the difference in energy. Let's roll that footage now, guys. All right, guys, check this out. This is kind of cool. This plate, last time I was out, probably absorbed 250 rounds of 22 long rifle. Not a nick. But this is how much more jam these 17 HMRs carry. You know, we're getting plates scaling right off and over. And on these smaller ones as well. Yeah, alright, shooting sucks, but you know what? All I can say is I haven't shot it for a while. But yeah, that's pretty shitty for 50 yards offhand. They should all be right in there. Anyway. So you can see that these 17 HMR rounds really do pack a lot more of a wallop than a 22 long rifle. So let's try some more shooting here. So there you can see the big difference between the power of the 22 long rifle and the 17 HMR at 50 yards. These black tipped and the red tips, they were cratering those hard steel plates pretty darn good, whereas the 22 long rifles, they just smeared right off and didn't cause any indentation whatsoever on this on the steel. So yeah, your 17 HMR of course is going to be zipping along a lot faster. It's going to hit with a little bit more energy. It's going to carry that energy farther down range. But do you need to spend $15 on a box of 50 versus $8 for a box of CCI Mini Mags? I guess you're going to have to answer that question. For me, I rarely shoot the gun. I really wish it was in 22 long rifle. If it was in 22 long rifle, this gun would be getting shot every time I go out. As it stands now, when I'm looking at $15 a box of 50, I'm like, I probably don't want to go with it. So the only negative in this CZ452 would actually be the caliber. I kind of screwed up, and you know, one of the big reasons I bought this gun when it came, I was working in a gun shop at the time, you know, another lifetime ago, and the wood on this thing was just amazing, grain and finish on this wood. But the thing of it is, there were a couple of flaws. Here, let me just roll this over here. There was a really bad flaw right from the factory right there. There was another one there, and there was a nick in the checkering. Now, there was a few things we could have done. We could have easily sent this gun back to the factory and probably had a new one sent out. But at the time, trying to get any guns in Canada was just, you know, it still is not that easy. So we just, my boss decided, he just said to me, well, you know what, I'm going to give it to you at cost. So I snagged it at cost. I think cost actually at the time in the late 90s was probably under $300 Canadian. These guns up are about $570 I believe, new from the factory right now. So here, I'm gonna go grab some targets here, guys. We'll roll in some target footage here of how these shoot and check these targets out. All right, these three groups are the at 50 yards with the Hornady 17 grain VMAX. That's off of an improvised bench. Yeah, that's the first group. Second group, yeah, it's okay. Third group, you know, very similar groups. Yeah, maybe doesn't like that one all that much. And here is the Federal 17 grain with the black poly. As you can see, the group sizes with these are pretty darn similar. So that's why I'm just beginning to wonder if these aren't the same bullets. You know, there's a 3-round cloverleaf right there. You know, 2 more to open it up. That's superb. That's amazing. I know the gun will shoot much better than me. You know, it'll shoot considerably better than I will. But the real, I would say the real star of the group is the 20 grain Winchesters. Now, you know, like I said, I know most guys are going to be able to shoot a lot better than this. There's some pretty good groups there. That one's kind of good. That one's not too bad. That's not too shabby. But this 5-round group here, now I'm pretty proud of this one. That's 5 rounds. So the gun definitely is a lot more accurate than I am. I got lousy eyesight. So the accuracy potential, this is out to 50 yards for this 17 HMR, is pretty darn good, I think. You know, I think we can, you know, if a guy spent some more time, some more practice, this is the first time I'd fired this gun in, like I say, 5-6 years. No, sorry, not 5-6 years. Probably 2-3 years since I've fired the gun. So you know what? There's a learning curve. You need to get back at it and get a feel for the trigger and get a feel for the gun. But if you can pick up one of these 452s in a long rifle, or you know, you want to go something a little bigger, the 22 mag or the 17 HMR, you get a good price for it, guys. These are superb. These are built to last a lifetime. Solid steel, solid wood, excellent triggers from the factory. Not a lick of plastic on this gun anywhere. Once you get used to the back assward safety on these CZs, it's a fine rifle. Like I said, highly recommended this firearm. Not necessarily this caliber, but this firearm and probably 22 long rifle. You know, you buy one good bolt action rifle, you're going to have a rifle that's going your children's grandchildren are going to have. Just an exceptionally good piece of kit, guys. So there you have it, the CZ452 ZKM American, excellent rifle. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Later. Glockster42 out. Now these little CZ452s make a fairly expensive plinker. If you're just going to go out and put rounds down range and goof around, stick with your 22 long rifle. But you know, a smallish coyote gun, absolutely. Gophers out to 200 yards, you betcha. Woodchucks, marmots, rock chucks, whatever you kind of varmints you guys want to shoot with these things, you betcha within, I'd say probably within about 200 yards. Maybe you might want to push it, stretch it out to 250 in a calm day. But the biggest thing I like about this, short of the funky safety on this CZ, is it really matches up well with most of my hunting rifles size-wise. It's, I'd say, 7/8 size, full sizes compared to a full-size hunting rifle. Of course, it's a lot lighter, and of course, the trigger's going to be a little bit different. But you know what? For bolt manipulation, getting your gun up fast, on target quickly, and practicing the shooting, this is a lot cheaper than your 308, your odd 6, or your 270 to shoot. Of course, it's not as inexpensive as a full-size 22 long rifle, but if you're looking for something a little bit different, the CZ452 and 17 HMR, it's a fine caliber. It's a fine cartridge. Would I buy one of these before I bought a 22 long rifle? Absolutely not. 22 long rifle first, guys, all the way. The wind's really picking up, so you're probably having a heck of a time hearing me. So we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. Thanks for coming along. Later.